here, and I can say that I have met Virag since last 4 years. A person with passion, a person, whatever he thinks he does, he works hard, and a man with a vision, and a person who thinks out of box.
Connects you to a global
with
network
those words
of
towards
almost
Virag,
30,000
let me come
like-minded professionals.
towards
Choose a
Institute
flexible plan.
and Chartered Accountancy course of which you are members.
Thank you so much, Virag Bhai, who's been the pioneer, who's the organizer of this fantastic concept, this series. My compliments, Virag Bhai, the amount of efforts that you are putting in all throughout this lockdown and even the unlock phase in making sure that members are using technology to leverage their practice. They are able to understand what are the nuances of technology, how they can improve their own working. And I think not just on technology, all your sessions that you are focused on, maybe enhancement of knowledge, technical topics, or some special series where I had the privilege of being, where you had specially able chartered accountants who were guests and you had taken their interview, had a very good interaction. I think you're doing a great motivational work, Virag Bhai. My heartiest compliments and congratulations to you. May God bless you. We'll continue doing this wonderful.
First of all, I would thank Virag Bhai to be on this webinar. He's a fantastic guy and with multiple qualifications, which he has achieved at a very young age. One more thing, what I would like to highlight over here is that Virag lost has mastered this art of conducting webinars and virtual seminars, and almost he has done 300 to 400 webinars and seminars in last 7 to 8 months. So it's a great achievement, and he has been doing a fantastic job and also being helpful to the fraternity at large.
Here, and I can say that I have met Virag since last 4 years. A person with passion, a person, whatever he thinks he does, he works hard, and a man with a vision, and a person who thinks out of box. So with those words towards Virag, let me come towards Institute and Chartered Accountancy course of which you are members.
Thank you so much, Virag Bhai, who's been the pioneer, who's the organizer of this fantastic concept, this series. My compliments, Virag Bhai, the amount of efforts that you are putting in all throughout this lockdown and even the unlock phase in making sure that members are using technology to leverage their practice. They are able to understand what are the nuances of technology, how they can improve their own working. And I think not just on technology, all your sessions that you are focused on, maybe enhancement of knowledge, technical topics, or some special series where I had the privilege of being, where you had specially able chartered accountants who were guests and you had taken their interview, had a very good interaction. I think you're doing a great motivational work, Virag Bhai. My heartiest compliments and congratulations to you. May God bless you. We'll continue doing this wonderful.
First of all, I would thank Virag Bhai to be on this webinar. To 400 webinars and seminars in last 7 to 8 months. So it's a great achievement, and he has been doing a fantastic job and also being helpful to the fraternity at large. Well, some of the
virtual. Sadar Jai Jinen, welcome you all. I congratulate Virag to connect. There is a name is also itself the connect. Virag is connecting 1,000 plus attendees as well as we panelists on the screen. Friends, it's a very commendable, and I congratulate the person who can do, who have the good intention. Only when the program is success. So I salute to you, Virag, for your benefit and noble cause for our profession.
A big thanks to Connect Easy and JCAF for organizing such beautiful programs. And the registration itself says, जो आज registration हुआ 1001 का, वो अपने आप या participation 1001 का, registration तो उससे भी कहीं ज़्यादा है. that itself talks a lot about the quality programs that are being conducted on this platform. अगर क्वालिटी प्रोग्राम्स नहीं होंगे प्लेटफॉर्म पे, आई एम डैम श्योर 1, 2 या 3 उसके बाद प्रोग्राम्स हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. So for the last 3 months, the quality programs that are being done. So my heartiest compliments and congratulations to Virag bhai and team, and also JCF Punit bhai is here, and all the dignitaries who have not been able to join yet, but they will be joining soon. Santilal ji Kochar sahab, I know him very well, and the kind of energy that he carries with him, that is inspirational, I would say. मतलब आज जितना वो काम करते हैं इस एज के अंदर भी, तो हम सभी लोगों को उनसे बहुत कुछ सीखने का है.
And I was very pleased and came to know of the great work which this organization is doing. I would like to congratulate Virag bhai on doing such good work on holding these webinars for the benefit of the CA fraternity at large. This Technology Week, basically, as I understand it, comes with an opportunity to a number of upcoming products, new products, and probably also some
and when you twin 2 or more person come together, I think they can create miracles. And the proof of this synergy is between the Connect Easy and our JCF. Let me tell you, we must have, I can definitely tell you that in COVID period, we must have done nearly 120 webinars. And I have to thank Virag, the CEO of Connect Easy, for really giving us this opportunity to be with him and really creating miracles. He had, I think in COVID period, Virag has done, I think, all. And when you twin 2 or more person come together, I think they can create miracles. And the proof of this synergy is between the Connect Easy and our JCF. Let me tell you, we must have. And when you twin 2 or more person come together, I think they can create miracles. And the proof of this synergy is between the Connect Easy and our JCF. Let me tell you, we must have, I can definitely tell you that in COVID period, we must have done nearly 120 webinars. And I have to thank Virag, the CEO of Connect Easy, for really giving us this opportunity to be with him and really creating miracles. He had, I think in COVID period, Virag has done, I think he had all adversity, he has converted into an opportunity. This is what he has from the day one, from the lockdown, he has started this webinar. I can say that he is a pioneer and the leader in this webinar sessions. I think Connect Easy must have done nearly more than 300 plus webinars, if I'm not mistaken, Virag. I think you confirm to this?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think he has brought and given us also an opportunity to have such excellent, highly influential people and intellectual people on this platform. So thank you, Virag, for giving a value addition to our members also and to JCF. And you also are a part of JCF. I understand, but whatever opportunities that you have given us, and this is what is called as merger, and the advantages of this, converting all your adversities into opportunities, all your stumbling stones into stepping stones, all your scars into stars. And this is what we have been doing it up to now.
So welcome friends in this wonderful session on faceless assessment. We are very fortunate that we got our request has been accepted by CCM Chitale sir. Sir is joining in a minute or so. Sir is in a meeting. Sir will join in a while. We also have a thanking to our today's guest speaker, CA Abhishek Murali sir. We welcome you, sir. Before we invite sir, would like to request CA Punit Bhai Mehta, a treasurer at Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, Mumbai, to have a welcome address for all our attendees. Before, sir, just want to tell you that we are live on all the platforms. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitter, and also we are live on LinkedIn. So apart from Zoom and YouTube, we are all live on other social media as well. So over to you, Puneet bhai.
So nice. Yeah, thank you, Virag. I, on behalf of Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, welcome all the participants for this unique experience of how to work in this new world of faceless assessment. And Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, as we've seen in last 4, 5 years, 6 years, we've been keep doing a lot of various different types of programs. And in last 1 year, along with Connect Easy, definitely a lot of programs have been done. And this and any new topic which comes up for a professional opportunity or for professional interest, we try and make it free of cost and make it available to maximum number of members. So that is what our role is, and our main objective is that knowledge should be free and it should be available to maximum number of members. Today, as Virag has already put in this particular lecture webinar on different platforms, it's very commendable. That's very nice. On different platforms, I welcome all of you on behalf of Jain Chartered Accountant Federation. And coming to this topic of faceless assessment, friends, this is the new era. And in last 3 months, we have got a lot of learnings. I'm sure that Dr. Abhishek Murali is here. Dr. Abhishek Murali would take us through the different aspects of what are the nuances of faceless assessment. Now, what is written has become important, not whatever is spoken. Earlier, whenever we used to be able to present in terms of the thoughts and everything to the income tax assessee commissioners or assessment officers. But now it is not there. Everything has to be in written. So while writing takes up the priority, it is the manner in which we present our case that would decide the fate. And would not like to take much of your time in between the speakers. Would request Virag bhai to take the proceedings further.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Puneet bhai, for your wonderful welcome address and having an importance of technology and the social media. So friends, we are here with the Abhishek Murali sir. So before I introduce, would like to tell that we have a few more session as well on upcoming days. We have on Tuesday on key aspect of bank branch audit, and also with the technology, how to use Finacle and Excel to have a speed in the bank audit, because in bank audit the speed is one of the biggest key. So we have to be equip ourselves with the technology aspect in bank audit as well, because banking is one of the main requirement of economy. So while doing the bank audit, we have our past chairman of WRC, CA Vipul Choksi sir, as a keynote address. He will also cover the important the latest Supreme Court judgment as well on the bank audit and the classification aspect. Apart from that, we have all are requested to mute themselves. Apart from that, we have the speaker who will cover on the Excel aspect and the Finacle aspect. So that is on Tuesday on 30th March. So all are requested to attend. That is also open and free for all. So all are requested to attend that as well. And now would like to introduce our today's speaker. It's my proud privilege to introduce our today's speaker, CA Dr. Abhishek Murali sir, youngest regional council member of from SIRC. Sir is a secretary in the last year when I met first time virtually to sir. Sir is a nationally renowned author and a speaker on income tax matters, regularly appeared on TV and newspaper as well. Sir has written multiple articles also. Sir has received the Gold Star Award from Padmashri Mylsamy Annadurai, who is a moon man of India, for speaking over 500 plus session during COVID period. So that is commendable, sir. We acknowledge your contribution to the profession, and also we acknowledge the contribution of madam as well. I have seen madam session also, a few of the session. So we will request again in future to have both as a joint session as well with Madam Sir. So thank you once again, sir, and we welcome you. And sir, you can now share the screen as well. And over to you, sir. Just want to tell you, sir, I think you already heard that we are live on Zoom and YouTube. Apart from that, we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter also, sir. So this is just for the information and connect that people are watching there as well, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Virag. Very warm good afternoon to all the participants and viewers who are joining on various platforms, as Virag very rightly pointed out. I thank the session organizer, CA Virag Shah, for inviting me. Very, very dynamic chartered accountant, young chartered accountant, I must say. And we are regularly in touch. He's constantly doing something for the benefit of members at various different forums. So he's a very, very active chartered accountant. It's very nice to see. And he's doing a phenomenal job by organizing these very, very important programs, especially during the early stages of lockdown. When many CAs were at home, we did not know what to do other than our wife or our people in our house asking us to sweep the floor. We used to wonder what we should do in our free time. So he gave us the opportunity by organizing these programs to watch and learn something as we also swept it. So thank you so much, Virag, for this inviting me for this program once again. I thank CA Puneet sir for a very, very lovely opening address. In fact, he touched upon very, very important points. Then I will also be touching upon certain changes which are happening now in our profession as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you quite frankly, we are in a very transformational phase as far as our profession is concerned. The digital side is one thing. The other thing is our traditional bread and butter practice of income tax, of audit. You may have seen the latest circular announced by the MCA 2 days back. You may have seen the developments that are happening in indirect taxes. And of course, today's session on faceless assessment. All these three areas are putting their hands on the bread and butter day-to-day practice of chartered accountants. So let us understand how we need to go forward. I've had the opportunity being part of the team that was very closely associated with the implementation of this entire faceless regime and also giving feedback to the government on a regular basis. We had formed a survey committee where we are giving suggestions on how to improve this faceless assessment. So from the south, we have 2 people representing and giving all the suggestions. I have the opportunity of being one of the members. And I used to remember in our initial meetings, we also used to say, this is not going to happen. They're asking too much information. It is impossible to upload. They are not allowing us to put more than this particular file size. So we had a lot of complaints. So we kept saying, sir, you go back to physical. You keep a balance. Some cases physical, some cases you keep digital. So we thought eventually government will succumb to the pressure and say that, okay, fine, let us go back to physical. But to our surprise, the government has been extremely receptive. They have been extremely receptive. So every time we have come with the problem saying, sir, this is not happening. They used to say, please tell us, sir, what is the problem? We will fix it. And to the credit of the government, whatever problems we have raised as far as faceless assessment so far is concerned, the government have been able to fix most of them. There have been so many improvements on a regular weekly basis in the faceless assessment portal. So let me tell you, friends, we are gone past the stage of discussing whether faceless should be there or faceless should be removed at all. Today, faceless assessment is a reality. Whether you like it or not, faceless assessment is going to be there. So what does this mean? What is the ultimate takeaway? My dear friends, the ultimate takeaway is this, that in an era of faceless assessment, it is now up to us to be updated. It is up to us to change and adapt to how the income tax is now transforming things. Because if we fail to change, if you and I fail to change, our bread and butter practice of income tax also is going to be slowly taken away from us. So now today's entire session, I will be covering it in 2 parts. The first is the procedure, the basic procedure of faceless assessment for us to understand. Some of you may be familiar by having done your faceless assessment. Many of you will be getting reopening notices, other time barring assessments being passed now. because the income tax is very busy. They have extended the date and all the orders are now being passed in full speed. So when that is happening, I'm sure you would have received the orders. But are you aware of the procedure? So today's program, I will take you through the procedural aspect. What are the procedure? What is the law? And also the practical aspect. The practical aspect as well. So if you receive a notice, what you should do, step by step, how to use the website, I will be telling you everything today, along with the latest developments on what are the issues which are being faced in the faceless assessment. To start off with, as you can see in this photo, the faceless assessment had a very grand launch during the lockdown on 13th of August 2020. Our Honorable Prime Minister announced and launched the faceless assessment scheme. What did he say? He said there are 3 pillars called transparent taxation, faceless assessment, faceless penalty, and of course, taxpayer charter. Now that has been further expanded. Now he is saying faceless penalty is also there. Not only that, faceless ITAT is also there as per the latest budget. So therefore, the entire income tax procedure is slowly coming under this faceless regime. Ladies and gentlemen, the day is not far off where income tax means you have to only answer out of your laptop. There is no concept of going to a brick and mortar place. Now, before we get started with faceless assessment, let's quickly understand where we were before. Manual assessment, as you can see, the first box over there on the screen, it is the very initial one. For more than 70 years, as far as income tax is concerned, it is being done manually. What do I mean by manual assessment? Either you or your client will get a notice from the income tax. They will bring it to you. You as an auditor will go and appear before the assessing officer. You will make all your submissions. You will argue the case in front of him. And based on your submissions, based on your argument, he will consider it and he will pass either a favorable or an adverse order. Clear, very straightforward. Now, next you had something known as email assessment. Please note the word that I am saying, my dear friends. I am not saying e-assessment. I am not saying faceless assessment. I am saying email assessment. Why I will tell you. I have been speaking on faceless assessment for more than 2 years now, preparing chartered accountants, lawyers, and assessees for this faceless assessment regime. One constant theme that I have seen wherever I have spoken is, sir, I have already done e-assessment. Before faceless assessment was launched on 13th August itself, many people thought they have done e-assessment, faceless assessment. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to clarify the point here. Like your manual assessment, where your assessee based in Bombay, Chennai, Calcutta, Delhi, anywhere across the country, you used to have an assessing officer in the very same jurisdiction of the assessee, or at least in the nearest jurisdiction of the assessee. There will never be a circumstance where it will be assessed by somebody anywhere else. Now, this email assessment was launched by the income tax around 2.5 years back. What was this email assessment? Like how the current e-assessment itself is there, this email assessment also existed, where you will have a tab. Once you log into the income tax portal, there will be a tab on the top, e-proceedings. If you click on that button, the list of your proceedings used to be there. Which assessment year, what are the orders to be passed, what is the reference number, etc. Which we are all familiar with. Yes, very good. But under the email assessment, there used to be one more button. It is not there now. It used to be there. What was that button? Do you want to do this assessment physically? Do you want to have your hearing physically? You can click yes or no. If I click yes, it will be done physically. If I click no, it will be done through the online portal. So this was how traditionally it was being done, and this email assessment tried to change that. So what happened? The difference is under email assessment, it was the same officer, whoever was doing your manual assessment, the very same person only was doing the email assessment. So whether I click yes or no, it goes to the same person. So what happened? Practically what happened? Do you want to do this assessment physically? Yes or no? 90% of CS put yes. Why? It is easier for me to explain the case. Also, when I go to his office, I can have a cup of coffee, tea, samosa, biscuits he will give me. I can have that also. So most chartered accountants put yes. So what used to happen? So in one case, I put yes. Yes, I want physical hearing. So I went before the assessing officer, made all the arguments. Then in the end, he told me, Abhishek, I'm going to pass the order. But once you go to the office, just scan and upload the documents. Sir, I chose that I want physical assessment. I didn't want virtual. No, it is okay. You just go and scan. It's easier for me. Otherwise, I have to scan. Okay, sir. Chalo, I'll go to office and do it. Then in another case, what happened? It was a difficult officer. So I did not want to meet him personally. So do you want a physical assessment? Yes or no? I clicked no. I do not want a physical assessment. I want virtual only. Then what happened? Next day, I got a call from the officer. Abhishek, I heard you are handling the case. Sir, yes, sir, I'm handling. You come to my office room now. I said, sir, I cannot come today. I have selected virtual hearing. So I have to do it virtually. No, it's okay. You still come. Sir, but I have selected virtual, sir. I have not selected physical. No, it does not matter. Whether you have selected physical or virtual, I want you to come to my office. So ladies and gentlemen, whether you selected yes, physical, or whether you selected no, I don't want physical. End of the day, many chartered accountants or many assessees found themselves again in the physical room of the assessing officer. So what did this mean? It meant the whole foundation of this email assessment was a flop. It did not hit the records. It did not hit the targeted requirement of the government, where it wanted to minimize the face time between the assessee and the assessing officer. So therefore, faceless assessment was born, where now your assessee based in Bombay can be assessed by an assessing officer anywhere across the country. Delhi, Calcutta, Chennai, Cochin, Hyderabad, Bangalore, anywhere. You don't know. Sir Abhishek, with great difficulty, I found out who's the assessing officer who assessed me. This year, I'm going to send for Deepavali. You send him a sweet box for Deepavali, sir. It does not matter. Why? Because next year, it will not be him. It will be somebody else. It is a dynamic jurisdiction. It will keep on changing every time. So that is how this faceless assessment is going to work, my ladies and gentlemen. So by now, most of you should know this. What's going to happen to your pending appeals? I told you it starts on 13th of August. So what if you received a notice on 16th of August? What will happen? Naturally, it comes to the faceless regime. What if I received a notice on 13th of August 2020? So in that case also, since the hearing is after your faceless assessment date, it will automatically come under faceless regime. Very clear. Okay, no problem. Sir, what if there is a case where I've had 10 hearings before the assessing officer? 10 hearings I've had before the assessing officer. I've given 3 show cause notices, responses, 10 hearings, several submissions, multiple hours of arguments. And what did the assessing officer say? On 10th of March, we both are having this discussion. He says, Abhishek, 2 weeks I'm traveling out of town. I'm back on 25th of March 2020. 25th of March 2020. You come on 25th of March. He will pass the order and will give it to you. Okay, sir, great. I leave the room. Then what happens? On 23rd of March, lockdown is announced. So 10 hearings, 3 show cause notices, multiple submissions, only order pending. Even in that case, automatically that case gets transferred to faceless assessment, my dear friends. So any case that you're having that's pending, that is not central circle, that is not international taxation, no matter what, it gets transferred to the faceless assessment. For a de novo assessment will be done. If the order is passed, don't worry. If an order is pending, faceless assessment. And that is why the date has been extended. Sometimes many chartered accountants have been calling me, why is the time barring date for income tax extended by 1 month? But for us, return filing date, nothing has been extended. They're given such minimal time, they're not extending time. Why is this? Because, my dear friends, of such infrastructural changes that is happening on the income tax side. The fact that it is extended only 1 month is a big thing, because the work involved is much more in the income tax side. Many de novo assessments need to be done. So before I start with the topic, I have to cover a very, very important thing. Communication. See, how will the communication be received under the faceless regime? It is going to come either by email, SMS or WhatsApp, or a mobile app. The mobile app is still under development. But the 2 means of communication is SMS and email. Now, why am I covering this point? Now, I am handling working with many chartered accountants for the appeal cases. And when I'm doing the appeal cases, I ask for the login details from the auditor so that I can log in and file the appeal. Now, here what happens commonly here is whenever I log in, generally it is that auditor's contact details which is given in the address of the assessee. So your phone number, your email ID is given. Is this wrong? Sir, it is not wrong. But I'll tell you something. There is a maximum of only 5 PAN numbers. Now it's been increased to 10 PAN numbers that can be linked to a single phone number or to a single email ID. Now, when that is the case, when I have a maximum of 10 only to be registered, if I'm a chartered accountant who has 100 clients, who has 1,000 clients, who has 10,000 clients, in these cases, what will happen? Sir, only the first 10 you will get the communication. Balance 90, balance 9,900. All these people will not get any communication. But Abhishek, this limit of 10 PAN numbers to 1 mobile number email ID came about 4 years back. So far, I have not had any problem. Why suddenly you're telling me now? I'll tell you, sir, why I'm telling you. The reason is, please look at the screen. When you had a manual assessment, or when you had even email assessment, whether you got an online communication or not, irrespective of that, you used to get a physical notice. A physical notice used to be served either on the assessee or on the auditor. So you never missed a hearing because it was not served. But under the faceless regime, they are very, very clear. It will come only to the registered email ID, registered phone number. If you have registered more than 10, to a single email ID or through a single phone number, income tax will say, I served it. They will say, I served, you did not respond. Sir, I did not get, it's not my fault that you registered more than 10. So what should you do? Generally, when we log into that income tax portal, one pop-up box will come, no, update contact details. Traditionally, we'll all press the skip button over there. So don't press that skip button. Take 2 minutes, go through the details, update the details. So many cases are there where the phone number of the assessee is a very old number, Aircell number, MTNL numbers which are not in existence. I have seen email IDs which are given @vsnl.com. I don't know what happened to VSNL. That company must have closed down. So the email ID still continues though for income tax communication. Only when demand comes, the income tax will contact you. When opportunity is to be heard, income tax will never reach out to your any other ID other than your registered one. So please be careful, my dear friends. Ensure that you update all the contact details and ensure that try to give the client's details. So what we did in my office, we told all the clients' email IDs, their mobile number only has to be fed. Now, naturally, your next question is this. What if they get a communication and they don't share it? We put a blanket rule. Saying all our clients, every single client, whatever income tax related email, whatever income tax related SMS has come, then in those cases, please forward it to us, no questions asked. Whatever communication comes, forward it to us, no questions asked. Sir, I got acknowledgement mail. I filed the return. I was next to you in the office. I was sitting across your table. That mail only I got. Sir, I don't care. Please send it. Whether you're sitting across the table, whether you're standing next to me, whether you're sitting on my lap, I don't care. Whatever communication you get from the income tax, please forward it to my office. If you do not forward, don't come and ask me. I did not respond. So therefore, once we put this rule, everything is going very smoothly because you're putting in the ball in the assessee's court, and in all honest situation, it is the assessee's details only that needs to be there instead of ours. So try to update it so that you do not miss any communication. So now let us come to the section itself. Let us come to the faceless assessment. Now, section 143(3)(a) of the Act is a new empowering section which was introduced for this faceless assessment. It is not new. It came in 2018 itself. But back then, when we had budget sessions, we used to have various budget sessions. where this used to be one more amendment which was there in the budget session. I used to skip it. Whenever I gave budget session, I used to skip it. And simply they would put one amendment. It does not make any sense. Nothing is going to come of it. I used to skip this. Not only me, any budget session you see from 2018, this would have never been covered. Why? Because nobody thought it will happen. See where we are today. Faceless assessment is a reality. And look at the amendment date, 2018. 3 years of effort. 3 years of effort have been put in to make this faceless assessment a success. It has not come suddenly behind your back. Suddenly they are not putting a faceless assessment scheme. They have well thought it out. So much effort is involved in making the infrastructure for the same. So therefore, let us quickly understand this section. I'm not going to read the entire section, but read the points that I have put in yellow and I put a bold and I've underlined. Eliminating the interface between the assessing officer and the assessee in the course of the proceedings to the extent technologically feasible. Sir, we understand technology is the backbone of this scheme. It is very, very clear. No problem. Second point, optimizing utilization of resources through economies of scale and functional specialization. Economies of scale and functional specialization. So traditionally, economies of scale we have only read in our economics chapters. Cost accounting, all that you have to study. What you're coming and saying, economies of scale, functional specialization and all for income tax. Please remember this point. Remember this point in the ensuing slide, you will understand. And the third one, introducing a team-based assessment with a dynamic jurisdiction. Now, dynamic jurisdiction, we have all understood. Our assessee in Bombay will be assessed by anyone across the country, clear. But what do you mean by team-based assessment? Once again, please remember functional specialization and team-based assessment, what they mean by that. You see, the structure of this entire faceless assessment scheme is going to have two main bodies. One is the National E-Assessment Center. The other is a regional E-Assessment Centers. Now, the National E-Assessment Center is in Delhi. It is in the middle of everything. They are controlling everything. Regional E-Assessment Centers in designated cities. It is there across the country. Now, this is not very important. Really speaking, this is not very important. What is actually important is the 4 units. Ladies and gentlemen, under this faceless scheme, there are going to be 4 units which are established by the Income Tax Department. Each unit will have a team of experts. Each unit will have a team of experts. What do I mean? The assessment unit, what they will do, they'll have experts who know how to identify the issues to be raised, seek information, analyze the issues, draft an assessment order. So this is their role. They are experts in this. Next, you have a verification unit. What does a verification unit do? They have experts in conducting inquiries, examining books of accounts, recording statements, cross-examination. All of that will be done by the verification unit. Why is it important? Now you may ask, what is the need to have an expert here? Sir, I will take you through a practical case that I faced. One assessee case which I was handling. Now this assessee was offering agricultural income. They were offering agricultural income year on year for almost 14 years they've been offering. So the auditor of the assessee, he has filed the return of income. It was picked up for scrutiny. He has given certain documents at the time of scrutiny. Scrutiny order passed, no additions made. Okay. Subsequently, the case was reopened almost 5 years later. The case was reopened under section 147. So in the notice, they said the reason for reopening is because the Tahsildar in Tamil Nadu, you have someone called a Tahsildar who will give something called a Chitta and Adangal. Chitta and Adangal. What these two documents state is that when I have agricultural income, this is the proof saying by the Tahsildar of that locality, the Panchayat, the municipality, that village, the town, you will have a government person, state government appointed person who will check and tell, yes, these crops were grown there. So much crops were grown. So much is the agricultural land that the assessee owns. Yes, it is a totally functional land. So he said, wheat is grown, maize is grown, corn is grown, barley is grown. So all these details will come out in your Adangal. So in this assessee's case, at the time of the original scrutiny, Tahsildar has given a statement. And that Adangal Chitta has been submitted and it has been accepted. Suddenly now, at the time of reopening, The income tax is saying Tahsildar has withdrawn his statement. Whatever he gave at that time, the Chitta Adangal, he's withdrawn because it is incorrect. I was very shocked, saying that how they can withdraw something like this. It has already been examined by you. How can you reopen this? So the auditor asked me to represent the case. So what I did, I said, okay, I want an opportunity to cross-examine. I want to cross-examine that Tahsildar, the person who said everything is correct. Suddenly 5 years later, he is coming and say nothing is correct. You cannot grow anything. Assessee did not grow anything. So I want an opportunity to cross-examine. So various times I said I will come here, date was fixed by the department, then they will say, no, he did not come, oh, that person is busy, you come suddenly on this date. So what I did is I put a full day, I kept it free. I told the department, whenever he comes, you call me. So I was waiting. Once the call came, immediately I rushed to the income tax and I had an opportunity to finally meet the Tahsildar. So I wanted to do a cross-examination. I started the cross-examination. I asked him, what happened? Why did you change your statement? He said, no, the assessee told me he is looking for a loan. He said he's looking for a loan. So that's why I simply gave a statement saying that he has agricultural land. Actually, he does not have agricultural, anything grown over there. He does not have agricultural income. It is a land where you cannot grow crops. You cannot grow crops. Like that, he gave a statement. So then I asked him, I said, sir, you are saying that because the assessee wanted to take a loan, you are giving a statement saying that he has grown crops. How often, for how many people you give such a statement saying that whenever they want loan, you will give them a statement saying land or income is there? So then he started saying, why you are asking all this? I said, sir, because if you give a statement, you are a state government appointed person to tell the truth. If whoever wants to take a loan is coming and telling you to give a statement, you are giving a statement saying crops are grown there. Isn't it a vigilance issue for you? What is going to happen? Immediately he started getting scared. He said, sir, income tax put pressure on me. So I withdrew it. Actually, I'm retired now. 3 years back itself, I retired. I don't know why they came and told me this. So I did it, sir. I want to withdraw my statement. Nothing like that. Crops were grown. He started saying this in the course of the cross-examination. Immediately the commissioner, or rather the assessing officer, she said, no, I'm going to stop the cross-examination. I said, why? She said, no, assessee has to be present. I said, show me where in the act or in the rules, assessee is required to be present for cross-examination. No, I issued summons. Assessee did not come. I said, sir, summons is separate. This is separate. Allow the cross-examination to finish. She said, okay, we will do cross-examination on a later date. You come back next week. We'll finish the cross-examination. So I said, okay, I'll come back next week. So we stopped and we left. Next day, I got an assessment order. Next day, an assessment order was passed saying that assessee did not appear for cross-examination. And they have taken a statement. Once I left the room and left the assessing officer's room, the Tahsildar has been called back. They have taken a statement from him saying that nobody has come from the assessee side, signed it, passed an assessment order. Little did they know, whenever I do a cross-examination, I start off by saying that I'm recording it. So my staff had recorded the entire proceedings. The entire proceedings was recorded. All I had to do at the appellate level is mention that this is not proper. Cross-examination opportunity. They have lied about it. When we had started, in the course of the cross-examination, they stopped us. So it became very simple. The case was decided in our favor and we got a favorable order in this situation. But the point to be noted here is the assessing officer in that case, the assessing officer who was handling the case here, she did not know how to conduct the cross-examination. First thing she said is assessee has to be there, which is not required. The second thing is cross-examination requires a skill. Cross-examination requires a skill. It is not something that you can simply start and you can ask a question and go off. If you are adequately skilled there, you could have got an answer out of the other party who's sitting there without having intimidated them, without scaring them. For example, they could have simply said, show the photos of the crops grown over there. Do you have any receipts? Do you have any details of what are the crops grown there? What do you do with the crops? Do you sell it to someone? Where do you sell it? What is the price you sell it at? Once you ask all these questions, you're starting to build a story around the agricultural income and you will be able to get an answer. But the assessing officer rushed into passing the assessment order. So now under the verification unit, under the faceless scheme, they'll have experts. They will know how to trap you in the course of the cross-examination through the adequate questions they are asking. The next unit is a technical unit. And ladies and gentlemen, please note this technical unit and review unit, which are owned, which are now going to be there under the faceless scheme, is going to be a deal breaker for the department. Why do I say it's going to be a deal breaker? See, the technical unit is going to do something never done before. We will take another practical scenario. One assessee that I was handling, it is a company, it's an automobile company, private limited automobile company, the second year of operations. Now, being the second year of operations, company is still hugely loss-making because they are trying to establish themselves in the Indian market. They're hugely loss-making. So in the course of the scrutiny assessment, the assessing officer asked for 25 items. 25 information was sought from the assessee. The assessee's auditor was able to give 21. 21 out of the 25 things was given. Balance 4, he said, sir, there were some floods in Chennai. Some documents are missing. You please give me some time. Give me 1 week time. I'll get the duplicate copy and I'll submit it. Assessing officer said, nothing doing. I'll give you 4 days time. If you can give it in 4 days, I will accept it. If you cannot, I will pass it on. Now the assessee tried very, very hard. And after 6 days, he was able to give it. Initially, he said he needs more than 7 days. Within 5 to 6 days, he was able to give the documents. But assessing officer said, sorry, I have passed the order. Cannot do it. So, okay, fine. He has passed the order. Let us wait for the order. When the order came, we are shocked to see it has been passed under section 144. Best judgment assessment done. Why? Assessee has not cooperated with the hearing. He has not furnished the information sought for. He asked for 25 things. I have given 21. These 4 things I have not given. But what he has done? Best judgment assessment. That too, how it is done. How was the best judgment assessment done in this assessee's case? He has said sales of the assessee is X amount. Presumptive taxation, 44 AD, 8% I am putting. So therefore 8% of the sales is the profit. He has to pay tax on 8% profit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all are aware that this is a loss-making company. Where is the question of profit coming? That too, several lakhs profit will he is putting. The tax also runs into several lakhs. And the assessee is loss-making. Where will he go for the money? Very, very pitiable situation. But when the case came to me, I told a simple thing to the auditor. I said, sir, don't worry, first hearing we will win the case. He said, how, Abhishek? The point was simple. In this case, I already told you, it is a loss-making company. Presumptive taxation is not applicable to companies. You can never do 4480 on a company. So therefore, where is the question of doing 8% as per section 4480? It is not practically possible at all. When I told the commissioner of he was shocked. He said, which assessing officer has passed an order like this? How can he do 4480? I said, sir, if that officer actually went as per the information given, at least he could have made some other additions and he could have got some loss would have been disallowed. He could have initiated penalty also if he wanted. Some collection would have been there for department in some way. But instead, he was over eager. He was over enthusiastic to make these additions. He's made the additions and now easily I won it in appeal. But I did not stop there. The reason I'm telling you is this. I did not stop there. I wanted to understand why this order was passed. Whether he did not like the auditor, whether he did not like the assessee. What is the reason he has passed such an adverse order, or rather such an obtuse order? When I did further research, I came to light. Now, the assessing officer was handling this case almost for 13 years. 13 years. 13 years, this gentleman has been in the exemptions ward. So under exemptions ward, he has handled non-for-profit cases, he has handled trust cases, he has handled society cases. All of these cases he's an expert. But what happened? 1.5 months before the time barring date, he has been transferred suddenly to the corporate ward. Under corporate ward, he's completely forgotten how income tax laws work. So in 45 days, he has to first understand income tax law, relearn it for corporates, how the taxation works. Second, he has to adjust 60 assessees. He has 60 assessees in his ward. For each assessee, he has to understand their issues, raise the issue, raise a show cause notice, read whatever submissions they are giving. In response to their submissions, he has to give a submission. They will give a response to that. For that, he has to issue a show cause notice. Then he has to give case laws, facts, proofs, everything has to be submitted. And then finally, after all of this, he has to pass a effective assessment order, which is a good speaking order. And this he has to do for 70 assessees in a span of 30 to 45 days. Now, the fact that the department has been passing good effective orders despite such a circumstance is a real huge credit to them. I don't know how they do it. Because if I was put in their shoes, 60 assessees learning the law, understanding each assessee, understanding the technical points, I would not be able to do. So the department is doing a phenomenal job. But despite that, there have been cases like the example I quoted you, where an adverse order is passed, sometimes hugely in favor of the department, sometimes hugely in the favor of assessee. In my case that I am talking about, it was hugely in the favor of the assessee. And ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about a very simple issue. I've only talked about 44 AD over here, the presumptive taxation not applicable to a company, very straightforward. What about cases like capital gains, reinvestment under 54F, multitude of judgments, multitude of opinions? Simple question. I own a residential house. I own already one single house I am owning. I live in an apartment. So what happened? I sold my land. I want to reinvest the land. What does 54F say? Asset sold should be any long-term capital asset other than residential house property. I've sold the land. Okay. I must reinvest it in another residential house property. Okay. Provided I do not own more than one residential house property on the date of such transfer. So I own only one house. So I need to reinvest. What do I do? Where do I reinvest? In the same apartment building, in each floor, there are 4 houses. I own one house. What am I doing now? I buy the rest of the 3 houses. Rest of the 3 houses I buy. I break the walls. I join them. I claim it under 54F. Now tell me, my dear friends, whether this is eligible for 54F, yes or no. Will it be considered to be a single house property or will it be considered to be multiple house properties? Now already I can see in the chat box that various answers have started coming. Some people are saying eligible. Some people are saying 54F not eligible. Some people are saying it will be considered single house. Some are saying multiple. Now, ladies and gentlemen, exactly the same predicament presents itself. Various courts across the country have taken various stands. One decision says, as long as it is a single house entrance is there, common entrance is there to all the houses, then it's considered to be one house. One other decision says, you must see how many electricity boxes are there. If there are multiple electricity boxes, as many electricity boxes are there, that many houses are there. One more decision says, you have to see how many deeds are there. One more decision says, it does not say, the act does not say one residential unit, it says one residential house. So therefore, multiple units can be joined together to make one house. One more decision is there, no matter what, however common entrance, whether same kitchen, all that, it does not matter. In whatever scenario, it will be a separate house altogether. So ladies and gentlemen, you and I, being experts in this field, chartered accountants, well versed in law and facts, we ourselves have such divisive opinions. The courts of India, which have the very well qualified judges who have experienced so much, they also have so many multitude of experiences, judgments, opinions. Can we expect an assessing officer to have clarity in such a complex situation? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the technical unit comes in. Now, those assessing officers, they are going to have a technical unit that will give them ideas. I'm an assessing officer who's been in exemption ward. I get a 54F issue. What do I do? I will ask the capital gains team. They'll have experts in each area. Capital gains experts, one team. Accounting issues, experts in one team. Transfer pricing issues, experts in one team. So like this, each team will be there with experts in that field. So whenever I have a doubt, I will write to them. Sir, I have a doubt. These are the facts of the case. Can the assessee claim 54F here? They will reply saying, yes, assessee can claim, don't worry. So this is exactly how the entire faceless regime is going to operate, where you're going to have a technical unit which will have experts in that field. And my dear friends, this is a deal breaker for the department. I'll tell you why. Because till now, the department did not have experts. Some assessing officers very intelligent, extremely smart, or they will read up the law, they will come back and argue the case, they will give you a good fight. Other assessing officers who don't know, they'll go and ask somebody else, the assessing officer in the next door. Sometimes they will call another chartered accountant who's their friend. Sir, this is the fact, what should I do? In sometimes worst case scenarios, they will ask the assessee's auditor itself, sir, what I should do, please explain to me. This is the truth. This is the harsh reality of how things are. That is now going to change, where now the department will have experts that will pass the order saying, in this case, don't give 54F. In the assessee's jurisdiction, there's a case against him. So like that, the suggestions will come from the expert team. Now, the last unit also, review unit. This is also a deal breaker. Why do I say it? It's a huge advantage to the department. I'll tell you why. Ladies and gentlemen, as someone who regularly does appeals, you can ask anyone who does appeals. You can ask anybody who does appeal matters, and they will tell you that whenever we start drafting the grounds of appeal, we never start with the merits. We always start with the technical points only. Why? Why do we start only with the technical points? I'll tell you why. We'll take another practical scenario. Section 147, reopening of assessment. When you get a notice under Section 148, what is the procedure? Now, if you take the Bar Act, the procedure is not there because it is laid down in CIT versus GK and Drive Shaft, Supreme Court decision from 2003. What does the decision say? It says, when an assessee receives a notice under Section 148, first, he must file a return in response to the notice. After filing the return in response to the notice, he can ask for the reasons for reopening. The assessing officer is duty bound to provide the reasons of reopening. The assessee may subsequently object to the reasons given for reopening. The assessing officer is duty bound to dispose of the objections also. And only after all of these steps, he can start the reassessment proceedings itself. He can start the reassessment proceedings only after complying with all of these provisions. Multitude of decisions are there. And many cases that I have personally argued also, where we have asked for reasons given, we have objected, objections not disposed of. Cases where I have asked for reasons not given, last day for passing the order, time barring date, morning at 10:30 a.m. I'm getting the reasons for reopening. At 12:30 noon, order is passed. Now, in all of these circumstances, what happens? Now, one case which I was handling, the assessee is a pakka fraud. The assessee, pakka fraud, no doubt about it. You look at all the facts, you simply have to read the order. You will know 100% this fellow is a fraud. All the additions are perfectly valid. Nobody can question it. But in that assessee's case, I asked for reasons for reopening. Reasons were not given. When I went to the appeal, all I had to say is I asked for the reasons for reopening multiple times. Reasons were not provided. Order was passed. The moment I said this in appeal, they did not even look at the grounds. They did not even look at the merits of the matter. They didn't even see what is the reason for addition. Purely on the technical point, the case was dismissed and given in my favor. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the power of a technical ground. Not only this, one more scenario. In one assessee's case, 25 additions were made. 25 additions. See that, 25 additions were made in this assessee's case. 25 additions made. Guess how long the order was? The order was 2 pages long, front and back, that's all. For 25 additions, 2-page order. This is called a non-speaking order. It's a very simple. When you go on an appeal, either two things will happen. They will either dismiss the case and give it in the favor of the assessee if they are in a good mood, or worst case scenario, they will say set aside. They will send it back to the assessing officer for a fresh hearing to be done because the order has been passed in a non-speaking manner. Now, these are the technical grounds on which us as an assessee or us as an advocate or an appeal specialist, they will say that we win the case on these grounds. Now, the department has come back and said, it's okay if we lose the case on merits, but please don't lose it on technical grounds. On some matter like you have not sent a notice in time, you have not served the notice, you have not given reasons, you have not put a speaking order. Let us not lose the case on things like this. Let us instead lose the case saying that on merits it was against us. So this review unit is going to do exactly that. They're going to check the quality of the order passed, whether it meets all the parameters required, whether it meets all the parameters required. Now, these are the work of the 4 units. Now, remember, there are 2 points I told you. Functional specialization, first point. That is the technical unit, my friend, where you're going to have experts in each function. You're going to have experts in each function. Then, team-based assessment. What do I mean by team-based assessment? Last 25 minutes, whatever we have been discussing, my dear friends, assessment unit, verification unit, technical unit, review unit, whatever they've been doing was being done by a single assessing officer. It was being done by a single assessing officer before. Now, 4 different teams of experts are coming together as a team and they are passing a single assessment order. So that is what they mean by a team-based assessment. So now let us quickly understand the procedure. Now we've understood how it's going to work. We'll take a practical scenario. Your assessee receives a notice. Your assessee receives a notice under a faceless assessment regime. How you should respond? What is the procedure that will be followed? Now you see in the middle of everything, you have something known as the NEAC. I told you the National E-Assessment Center, they are the brain. They are the brain behind this entire faceless regime. So therefore, what does the brain do? Please note, all your communication under the faceless scheme is going to come only from the NEAC. It is not going to come from anywhere else. Gone are the days of the physical ward officer who is going to send your notices and your orders. It is all going to be passed by the NEAC. So the NEAC, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now make my mouse cursor visible. If you follow my cursor, this entire screen might seem very, very confusing to you. So many boxes, so many lines. But once I explain this, I have tried to put the entire scheme in a single screenshot. So if you go get an assessee's notice, if you see this after my explanation, you will be able to simply handle every assessment case without a problem. So the NEAC is in the center of everything. And the NEAC, if you see the number that I have specified here, the NEAC number 1, they will serve the notice on the assessee. The assessee 2 will submit his response to the NEAC. 3, the NEAC will assign the case to assessment unit. See how that happens. The NEAC assigns the case. Now you will ask, sir, NEAC is assigning the case. They can assign to anyone, right? Yes, sir, they can assign to anyone. But it's going to be a computerized process. It is going to be done by the computer. There's no case of manual assessment, no currying favor, nothing like that. They will not put some fellow next to you. So that now is not going to happen. It is going to be done by the computer totally at random. So the case is assigned to the assessment unit. So whatever response you have submitted, they will share it to the assessment unit. Assessment unit will go through everything you have given. Then they will say, so this is not enough. I need more information. So see, the assessment unit in arrow number 4A, they request for more information. Who are they requesting? They don't ask the assessee. The assessment unit has no relationship with the assessee at all, no communication with the assessee at all. The assessment unit, when they want more information, they ask the NEAC only. The NEAC in turn, they will send a notice to the assessee saying, give more information. The assessee will submit it to NEAC. NEAC will forward it back to the assessment unit. Now, assessment unit have seen everything, then they are saying, sir, I need verification to be done. What do you mean by verification? I'm an assessing officer based out of Delhi. My assessee is in Bombay. He is claiming agricultural income. I need to know if it's agricultural land that he owns. So how will the verification be done? Some assessing officer or an inspector who's based out of Bombay only will be able to do it. So therefore, assessment unit requests for verification, see arrow number 4B, they send it to the NEAC. NEAC forward this request for verification to the verification unit. Verification unit goes through it, then they send it to a team that is an inspector in Bombay. He'll go verify it and he'll give a report. Now let us take a scenario once again. Your assessee is based out of Delhi. His documents for sale of land happens to be in Hindi. It happens to be in Hindi. The case happens to be assigned to an assessing officer somewhere in South India. Let us assume he's in Tamil Nadu in Madurai. Assessing officer does not know Hindi. How is he going to pass an effective order with reading your Hindi document for sale deed? So here it will be forwarded to a verification unit that knows Hindi, either in the same state or somewhere else across India. They will verify the document, they will translate it, they will see if the translation is correct, and then they will forward it to the assessment unit. And therefore, the assessment unit and the verification unit also don't have any relationship between each other. Only the NEAC assigns the verification unit that's in charge and which is needed. And they will simply give a report, and this report is forwarded to the assessment. Then they wanted more information, they have got it. They wanted verification, they have got it. Now it is a capital gains 54F issue, 2 houses, 2 apartments purchased on the same floor. Assessment unit does not know what order to be passed. What happens? The assessment unit asks for technical assistance. They forward that to NEAC. NEAC forwards this to the technical unit. They'll say, okay, capital gains matter, go to the capital gain technical unit. Capital gain technical unit will go through everything and they'll give their report. Do not allow 54F. It is considered multiple houses. Disallow. NEAC forwards this to the assessment unit. Assessment unit wanted more information, they've got it. They wanted verification, it's done. They wanted technical assistance given. Can they draft an assessment order? Sir, wait. You will pass something known as a draft assessment order. Why draft assessment order? We already discussed. Review unit. The review unit will see whether an order is drafted properly. Have you reopened? Yes, sir, we have reopened. Have you issued the notice under 148? Issued. Assessee filed return? Yes. Did assessee ask for reasons? Yes, he has asked. Did you give the reasons? No, I did not give. I passed the order. Please give him an opportunity. Send it back. Object to his reasons. Give him the reasons for reopening. If he has any objections, dispose of the objections correctly, and then only pass the assessment order. You have made 14 additions. How can you pass a single page order? Please pass a speaking order. Like this, the review unit will give the suggestions. NEAC will send it to assessment unit. Assessment unit, finally, can they pass an assessment order? Wait a minute. Now, this is the important point. Even at this stage, the assessment unit passes what is known as a draft assessment order. Now, why I am saying that? Why do they pass a draft assessment order? Now, this is something that I've been fighting for a very, very long time. One more practical case I'll tell you. One assessee that I was handling happened to have some transactions in penny stock. He has sold one share, which was nominated as a penny stock during the search. Now, I had multiple hearings with the assessing officer, almost 8 or 9 hearings I had, and 3 show cause notices were issued, responded to all of them. But I told the assessee, see, it is a penny stock. You might have all the documents. In this assessee's case, it was genuine. His friend had told him, you buy the share, he had bought it. When the price went up, he sold it. He did not even sell it at the peak. He sold it up before it went to the peak. So he said, I have everything is on paper, everything is on documentation, everything is online. I have demat statements. But I told him, sir, it is a penny stock. Worst case scenario, they're going to disallow your exemptions. It is okay. So when the assessment order was passed, assessee was ready. He said, okay, sir, I know it is my fault only. I should not have done it. I happened to do it. Even though it's genuine, I'm okay. I'm ready to pay the tax. Assessment order passed. 2 additions made. First addition, disallowance of long-term capital gains exemption claim. Okay, no problem. Second addition, unexplained movement in the capital. Unexplained movement in the capital. Capital has increased by 1.5 crores. Assessee has not given any explanation. Sir, 3 show cause notices, 9 hearings, multiple hours of discussion over coffee and samosa and biscuits. Never even once in 9 hearings was the movement in capital ever questioned. It was not even asked. But when the order is passed, addition is made saying unexplained movement in capital. Assessee is saying, sir, I can explain it. I got a maturity of LIC policy that year. It has come into my capital account. I have all the proofs. TDS has been deducted. Everything is there. But why they have made the addition? So this addition is made behind the back of the assessee. Now, naturally, all of you will say, so simple matter, you go on appeal, you'll win the case. Yes, sir, I can win the case. But this assessee also has a penny stock. I wanted to come under the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme. I cannot do a 154 because this is not an error apparent on record. I cannot go for the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme now because if I do, I have to pay the tax on the capital amount. Vivad scheme does not allow me to cherry pick. I cannot say on this addition I will go into the scheme, the other one I will go on appeal. So therefore, please see the impact of going behind the back of the assessee has. So why I am saying this? Under the faceless scheme, there will be a final show cause notice issued after the review unit gives the suggestions. A draft assessment order is passed by the assessment unit. The order is not straight away passed. A final show cause notice is given. Why am I muted? I think I just saw a comment saying, please unmute. Am I audible? Okay, I think I'm audible, so it's no problem there. So as I was saying, my dear friends, now under the faceless scheme, after the review unit has given suggestions, also a draft order is already passed to give the assessee a final show cause notice. Do you have anything to say? These are the additions I'm going to make. Do you have any problems with these additions? Assessee can object, saying, yes, I have a problem with the additions. And let me tell you, my dear friends, from practical experience, the case that I handled last week. The assessee brought the case to me itself. At that stage. He said, final show cause notice I have got. What should I do? I gave him all the submissions. We prepared all the submissions overnight. We drafted everything, invoice copy, etc., attached everything. It was accepted. Addition was not made, and all our submissions are accepted. At the final stage, please look, after assessment verification technical review, even after that stage, final show cause notice given. All so long you have not given something. Final stage you are giving, then also they are accepting. I have never seen this in a physical stage. In all my experience, multiple hearings, I have never seen a scenario where the officer's mind is made up, he is willing to change. And that, my friends, is a very, very good development in this faceless assessment regime. And it is very, very effective also. Only after this final show cause notice will your final assessment order be passed. This is the overall faceless assessment scheme at a glance, It is at a glance. Now you may think it will take a very long time, very complex process. That is not the case at all. Orders are being passed in a matter of less than a week. Within 10 days, 7 days, 6 days, assessment orders are being passed, provided assessee is cooperative and is making the submissions on time. In fact, my dear friends, now it is faster than ever before. I've never seen a scenario where assessment orders have been passed so soon. And various changes have now been made to make it convenient for the assessee to give even multiple submissions if required. And department have been kind enough to accept it as well. Now, I've also shared a few screenshots. Most of you must have already been responding to all of your assessment notices. But if you're not, this is what the screen looks like. Once you log in and you click on that e-proceedings tab, this is what you will see. Once you select your assessment here, you will have the notice communication ID, under what section the notice is issued, what is the description of the show cause notice. In here, it's a show cause notice under section 271(1)(c), what date it was issued on, all that will be shown. Then what is the document ID, what is the response due date, whatever response you have submitted, what date you have, what response you have submitted, what date you have submitted. Once you submit the response, next to that there will be a button called view. You can even see what response you have submitted. Then you have something now which has been introduced just last week after various submissions that we had. Two things have been introduced: seek adjournment and video conferencing. Now straight away, I'm sure all of you will say, sir, video conferencing, all my cases I will ask. So they will not give in all cases. Video conferencing will not be given to everyone. It will be given only in some cases. Why am I saying that? You see the next page, in the next screen, you have to put what reason you want a video conferencing. What reason you want video conferencing. So here I have said, it is humbly submitted in this one case that I'm handling. Due to voluminous nature of the supportings, an opportunity may be given for us to explain the same and for those submissions to be considered. And identical facts allowed in a similar case for the assessee. So therefore, this is the reason that I have given why I want video conferencing. So similarly, there are certain conditions against which you can ask for reasons for reopening. So voluminous data, the case is too complex, assessee has a disability or some difficulty in making the submissions, or any other reason. Only if it falls under these four categories can you claim a reason for video conferencing. Otherwise, it will not be given, not in every case. Even if you ask for it, it will not be given in every case. What about adjournment? We are notorious for asking adjournments, especially chartered accountants and advocates who regularly appear in appeals will know adjournment is something which is almost expected in every case. Minimum one adjournment at least will be there. So under this faceless scheme, they have brought a new box called adjournment, where you cannot seek for adjournment more than 15 days, maximum of 15 days from the response due date. Maximum 15 days only you will be allowed to claim under this one box. Not only that, you have to give reasons for seeking the adjournment, describe the reason, attach a document proof. So you cannot simply say, my grandfather fell down from the staircase, I have to take him to the hospital. My dog was admitted in the hospital, so I had to go. All of these reasons will no longer be simply admitted. You have to give the proof and all over here. You have to scan and attach the proof. So please be careful. Whatever reasons you are giving, ensure that reason does not have a documentation. So the lighter note, but please not try to avoid taking unnecessary adjournments. In my view, it will not be given for you more than 2 or 3 times. I think up to 3 times is reasonable in my view. More than 45 days if you want adjournment, I think that is unfair to the department also. We are at a time where things are moving very, very fast. So I think we have to stay updated and ensure that we are cooperating with giving the information sought for by the department over here, not to take unnecessary adjournments. So now the big question mark. One person who's sitting in wherever you are based out of, Bombay, Delhi or Chennai, after great difficulty, he has passed his UPSC exam. He has chosen IRS. He's rejected IAS, IFS, IPS. He has chosen IRS. Now suddenly, after getting promoted to commissioner level, they are saying faceless assessment. So what is the power of the jurisdictional assessing officer? What does he do? The jurisdictional assessing officer is still relevant, but his powers have been watered down substantially. So this is what they are going to do. Collection and recovery of demand. Once the demand is raised, you will get a call. No, sir, please ask your client to pay. If you are going on appeal, pay 20%. Otherwise, I will freeze the account. I will retrieve the funds out of the account. All of that will continue. It is going to be done by your physical assessing officer. So collection and recovery of demand. Second, Rectification under section 154, where there's an error apparent on record, the jurisdictional assessing officer still has the power to conduct any rectification against the assessment order. Giving effect to the appellate orders, giving effect to appellate order. The appellate authority is direct something, he will give effect to that. That is going to be done physically, no problem. The last one is the most powerful one. Proposal to launch prosecution proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, prosecution proceedings, if you see the last few years, it has been on a rise. In fact, the last 5 years, I think it has gone up more than 300% compared to the previous 5. So when that is the case, and when you're removing a lot of powers from a person, whatever powers he has left, I think there may be a tendency to use it more from a human mentality point of view. So I expect prosecution cases may be on the rise. Department, in 70% of the cases, they can initiate if they want. They really have a strong case to initiate, but they're kind enough not to do it. So therefore, you may see a rise in the number of prosecution cases. Can I opt out of the scheme? No option is there. Only in the following cases, you can avoid coming under the faceless scheme. Assessment frame under search and survey. So earlier, you are aware, search and survey cases probably have a lot of information to be collected. So therefore, transferring this information to wherever the jurisdictional assessing officer is, from there to wherever the faceless assessment regime is, keeping on moving the data, evidences, all of that may be slightly challenging. So that is the reason it is still there under the faceless scheme. But I've been informed in various discussions that I've had with the ministry is that the likelihood of it coming under the faceless regime is very, very high. They are very strongly considering it. And I think it's only a matter of time before this comes under the faceless assessment regime. International tax cases are not covered under the faceless regime, where assessment has been set aside with a specific direction, it should be done physically only. Obviously, that is not covered under faceless assessment. Where internet connectivity is poor, Jammu and Kashmir, almost 6 to 7 months, they did not have any internet. So you cannot tell them we sent you multiple notices, you did not respond. They will say, get lost, I could not even message my daughter and my wife. So therefore, wherever it is internet connectivity is poor, it is going to be notified. In those cases, it will be done physically only. And the last one, owing to exceptional circumstances, the Principal Commissioner of Income Tax may record the reasons for the manual assessment and transfer it from faceless to a manual assessment. Now, immediately you may say, sir, I know the Principal Commissioner. He is my very, very close friend. Sir, he is my brother's very, very best friend. He is my father is only the Principal Commissioner. Sir, it does not matter. It does not matter who the Principal Commissioner is. They will not simply do it because they help you, because every reason they have to record, and every case that is transferred from faceless to a physical assessment level will be scrutinized by the CBDT. The highest level it will be scrutinized. So be very careful. It is not going to happen just because you want to have it physically. It will not be done even if you know the Principal Commissioner of Income Tax. Of course, faceless penalties has also now been introduced. As soon as you get the order, as soon as you get the assessment order these days, you are also getting a notice for the faceless penalties. Traditionally, we are all used to assessment order having one line in the end. Penalty under section 271(1)(c) will be initiated separately. Then next 6 months, nothing will happen. When time barring date for penalty comes only, they'll suddenly wake up and start having the proceedings. But under the faceless regime, the day you are getting your order under assessment order, under whatever section you are getting, the next day or the same day itself, you are getting a notice under penalty. So there's a national faceless penalty center which has now been established. The procedure is almost identical. The procedure, whatever we discussed for faceless assessment, the same procedure only applies for faceless penalty, faceless appeals, with some mild variation. Over there, it was assessment unit. Here you have something known as a penalty unit. Here you only have 2 units, whereas over there you had 4 units. You have a penalty unit, you have a penalty review unit. Penalty unit will do all the investigation, they will draft the order. Penalty review unit will check the order drafted and they will pass it. So this is how it's going to work as far as penalty is concerned. What about appeals? Appeals also very, very similar, except in appeals, they have 3 units. They have 3 units. Now, I don't know why they have 3 units. Very confusing to me. The first appeal unit 1 will be selected at random to take up the case for scrutiny, for appeal, have the hearing, and then pass a draft order. Appeal unit 2 will review the draft appeal order, give suggestions, variations, and enhancements. Appeal unit 3 will review the suggestions of appeal unit 2 and they will pass the order. I don't know why they stopped there. They could have appeal unit 4, they will review what appeal unit 3 did. Appeal unit 5 saw what appeal unit 4 did. So why they're having 3 units, I don't know. Unnecessarily complicated in my case, in my view. But this is there to stay. So this is how it's going to work. The procedure per se is almost like for like, whatever we discussed in faceless assessment. So I'm not going to go into the detail. As far as your faceless appeal is concerned, now these are not going to be covered. Serious frauds. I don't know what the definition of serious fraud is. Maybe they will go as per the ministry definition of SFIO. So serious frauds will not be covered under faceless appeals. Major tax evasion. Again, very subjective. Maybe a limit will be prescribed soon. Sensitive matters and black money matters. Black money matters, Benami matters is easy to identify. But what do they mean by sensitive matters? So again, it's a very, very, it's not a fixed definition. It seems to be quite wavering over there. So some cases may fall sensitive, may not be large amount. So we don't know how it's going to affect the faceless appeals. Such cases will not be covered under faceless appeals. International tax cases will not be covered under the faceless appeals. Because now, big question. I'm sure this budget you would have all seen where the Honorable Finance Minister has said the ITAT will also be made faceless. Currently, we are appearing in the ITAT through the web mode. It is happening through WebEx platform. And honestly, it is very, very convenient and I'm really enjoying it. We are able to appear across various courts in the country and without having to travel. The assessee also saves on the cost instead of paying for the travel by flight, hotel booking, then the conveyance, all of that is avoided. So ultimately, good hearing is also given. I don't have to sit physically, wait for my case to be called. It is going very smoothly. But now they have said they want it to be faceless, which means it is going to be identical to how you are doing the faceless assessment. But as of now, as of today, the procedure has yet to be notified. We don't know what the procedure is going to be like. Our ITAT proceedings as of now is still happening physically. So we are having our hearings physically. But maybe in the next ensuing weeks, we will have the procedures in place. So finally, we have reached the final slide. What should we do? What should you and I do under this faceless assessment regime? First thing, as I told you, update the contact details, phone number, email ID of the client. Please update that. Second, get good scanning equipment. It may sound funny, but under the faceless regime, everything is going to be scanned and uploaded. So ensure you get a good scanning equipment. Today, phone also, you have good apps where you can scan the documents easily. So get good scanning equipment or scanning app for your office. 3, improve the quality of your drafting and presentation of your submissions. What do I mean? Sir, traditionally, you are used to sitting across the table from the officer, explaining the case. Sometimes you may be explaining the case in your own regional language, either Hindi, Tamil, English, whatever language you are comfortable with, you'll be explaining the case to them. Now, all that is gone. No question. I remember when I started doing appeals, I was told, I was asking my seniors how I should go appear. They used to say, go clean shaven, wear a suit, wear a tie, sit with your back straight, look into the eye of the assessing officer and talk. Now today, whether I'm wearing full formals in a suit or whether I'm simply wearing my underwear and sitting and writing, it does not make a difference. And there's no question of looking into the eye of the officer. There's only going to be my laptop. So the quality of the order is going to be based on the quality of your submissions. If you don't know how to draft, your order is going to suffer, your client is going to suffer. So please improve the quality of drafting and submission or refer the case to someone who's good at it. Earlier, auditors were scared to refer cases because within their city, within their region, if they refer to someone, maybe they may lose the file. Today it is faceless. You can give the case to anybody across the country and you can not worry of the risk of losing the file also. But end of the day, the quality of your submissions has to be good. Please remember, because otherwise you are doing a disservice to the client. Next point, prepare and submit prompt responses to all notices. Prepare and submit prompt responses to all notices. This is a very important point, very basic. I've already told you, you cannot take a repeated adjournments. So therefore, if you delay the submission, it will not be considered. As of now, they are allowing it to be considered. But in many cases, once you put a cutoff time, 23:59 p.m., 10:59 a.m., once they put that time, if you do not submit by that time, then it will not be considered after that. Please remember, don't miss giving the submission. Ensure you respond promptly. Last point, take appeals very, very seriously. My dear friends, traditionally I have seen, especially in Mufassal areas, where appeals, there is a fear to take it up. They did not want to spoil the relationship, soar the relationship with the assessing officers, commissioners there, etc. So they used to say, I will not go on an appeal. I will pay whatever quantum, but please don't levy the penalty. So this sort of relationship was there. You will help in some other case, if not this case, all of that. Today, none of that exists. Each assessee is separate. If you get an adverse order under the faceless scheme, immediately take up the appeal. Not only is it a professional opportunity, it is also the right thing you need to do for the client. So with this, I'm concluding my presentation for the day, because my PPT is much bigger and longer. It contains a lot of other case laws and other aspects as well. But as far as faceless regime, this is faceless regime in a nutshell. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you so much for a patient listening. Maybe we can take up some questions now. Over to the organizers.
Thank you so much, sir. Would like to request participant to post their question in the question tab. And would like to tell everyone that Chitale are also joining us in a minute or two. So any question in the question tab, chat box?
Okay.
So there is one question from Sahil.
Yeah, a few questions are there. Should I just read it,
yeah, please,
Virag?
Please, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. Sahil has asked, have a question for power of attorney. Please unmute. I think power of attorney, you have to go and attach it in the representative. Where you have a representative, you have to fill the details where somebody is appearing for the assessee. If you are a chartered accountant, you can just select chartered accountant, provided your details are available on the e-filing portal. You can fill those details and it will be accepted if you are the CA. No need for a power of attorney in that case. But suppose you are the auditor and you're referring the case to me. If I'm appearing, I have to put the power of attorney over there. Now, the next question you may ask is it required at all? Because I can go and make the submissions without selecting authorized representative. Sir, you can, but always remember, this is the fundamental thing I always say. Where you have somebody else appearing on your behalf, worst case scenario, your case is going against you. You can always later say that, sir, I didn't want to say it. My auditor said it. I fired that auditor. Now for the appeal, I put a new person. You please consider what this person is saying. Now you can say that if somebody else makes the statement. I myself cannot make the statement and then say, sir, actually that day I was in a bad mood. I said something. You please don't consider what I said. So if you want to make a submission without selecting authorized representative, please remember the assessee is responding. That means the assessee is responding, not the AR, not the AR. If you are appearing as an AR, put your power of attorney, put a wakalatnama, put a board resolution authorizing you to appear on that assessee's behalf. So that at least later on, worst case scenario, assessee can take a stand that this was not the submission he wanted to make. Next, Harsha has said, sir, which unit hearings are conducted? Assessment unit. The assessment unit is the unit that conducts the hearings. For CIT appeals, Prashant Manglik has, I think the question is not written fully. Okay, I found it. For CIT appeals, EO case was passed under ex parte, but for all documents, will it be as additional evidence? Sir, if you have not furnished, Prashant sir, if you have not furnished before the assessing officer the details, that is, you have no proof of submission, then in that case, it is an ex parte order. Yes, you must put additional evidence when you're filling that form 35. You have to fill that up saying these are the additional evidences. So it will be put in a remand report. So it will go back for his viewing. CA Kedar, if somebody wants online hearing, is it possible? Yes, sir. As I showed you, you have an option now to select VC. So you can select video conferencing hearing. So if you want, if you select that, in those cases, provided the reason is adequate, and they're accepting the reason, then they will have a VC hearing. They'll consider it in that case. Sahil. Okay, I think Sahil, you can type it out in the box. I don't know how to do it to unmute you, etc. So better you may type it out in the box. So I think we covered all the questions, Virag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With this, we are welcoming Chitale sir as well.
So it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. Chitale sir is an inspiration, Central Council member, and also a very, very dynamic person. Whenever he used to visit SIRC for disciplinary hearings, I used to meet him at our SIRC headquarters. But of course, the last 1 year, nobody has been traveling anywhere, so I missed meeting him physically. But it's always a joy to listen to him. I always follow the programs that he's been organizing, and his address is always riveting and excellent. So thank you so much, Chitale ji. It's a privilege to be sharing the dais with you.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to listen to your lecture.
Yes, sir.
Whether you have
Yes,
through it.
Yes, it is done, sir.
Okay, so,
sir, we have done question answer also. There are so many requests from the presentation, sir. Abhishek sir.
I will share it with you, Virag. You can share it with people.
So
whoever wants to message me, I will share it to them also, but I will share it to you also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So friends, with this, we will update the presentation on YouTube channel description, so you can download from there as well. And we'll now welcome CA Chandrashekhar Chitale sir. Very dynamic leader, as already introduced Abhishek sir. And sir is at present chairman of Direct Tax Committee of our institute, ICAI. So we welcome you, sir. Sir, we have a Puneet Mehta sir as well from Jain Chartered Accountant Federation as a treasurer. So we jointly welcome you, sir.
Yeah. So thank you for such a wonderful topic being taken by for the purpose of webinar, and inviting scholar faculty like Abhishek for the purpose of delivering lecture. In fact, I have been interacting with Abhishek, as he informed, when I was at Chennai for certain committee work. Now in this context, I asked my council colleagues from Southern region that why Abhishek is able to present such a beautiful lectures and everything. And I was told that, yes, Abhishek himself is brilliant, but he is guided by his wife also. So his lectures are more crisp and to the point. And everybody is enjoying his lectures. Friends, yes. And you must have experienced it. Actually, I wanted to attend the lecture, but my apology, as you are aware that our bank audit fees have not been revised for last 8 years. And there was certain meeting in concerning the same. I think from Southern region, CA Babu Abraham Kalliwali also joined for this particular meeting, and that meeting got delayed, but let us hope that something better will emerge from this devotion of time.
Yes, sir.
And now coming to this faceless assessment, as you are aware that in respect of in direct tax hearings or even in indirect tax, there are a number of malpractices which were set in. And one response of government was to have this faceless hearing so that these malpractices will not be there. With that hope, it has started. But before I really commence, let me tell you that still we are seized of reports that certain malpractices have still set in this particular faceless hearing. Phone calls are coming from Delhi that, okay, so-and-so is your client, and these are your turnover, this is your whatever fixed assets, and so these questions are asked, so how to go about it. Not only we are seized of it, but let me tell you that Central Board of Direct Taxes and high officials at government level are also aware of this particular malpractices which are likely to happen, and really vigilance cell has been activated So anybody indulging in this particular activities will certainly get caught. And again, this sanctity of faceless hearing will certainly be decorated. In initial, at the moment in your discussion, it must have come, the time limit which is being accorded for the purpose of responding those questions is really short. At times, you are occupied with certain other matters and you may not be able to respond them quickly. But whatever time they allow or they do not allow, it would be in our interest, in client's interest, that you write a letter for the purpose of extension of time limit, maybe fortnight or month, whatever you require. Of course, when the assessment is time barring in the month of March or April, it becomes rather difficult. But then maybe if they are asking you at the 11th hour, I have seen certain notices coming on, said 22nd or 23rd and seeking responses by 25th or 26th. Please don't come under pressure. Tell them that we have received notice on this date, and wherever appropriate, if the assessee or the chartered accountant is down with corona, please cite that particular reason, because that would be one legitimate reason, even if certain harsh assessment or steps or orders are passed by the assessing authority against the assessee. Maybe one more opportunity of being heard would be available if you have cited such reasons. Of course, they should be true and correct, not just citing for the purpose of citing. In case of assessments, one may be comfortable, but the challenges are about uploading the substantial number of papers, etc., through scanning. As you are aware that our committee of members in practice is in discussion for having this computers and laptops for the purpose of chartered accountants. Unfortunately, certain procedural hurdles are there, but there on behalf of Direct Dice Committee, I have also requested that if at all you make tie-up, you also make tie-up for professional grade scanners, because hereafter in the faceless era, we will need also smart scanners for the purpose of uploading the data, maybe reducing the volume, reducing the font size, whatever. So that also is need of the hour. For the purpose of faceless hearing, as you are aware that drafting has to be most appropriate, because orally you may explain something, if the assessing officer misunderstands it, misinterprets it, he tells you that this may not be appropriate, etc. And you have got chance that he has not really understood a particular thing, maybe a point of law or whatever fact in an appropriate manner, the way in which you wanted him to understand. So there you can then and there explain. This particular opportunity, unfortunately, may not be available in faceless hearing. So in faceless hearing, it is not that you are strong on law, you are strong on facts, but really you have to have developed an art as well as your language for the purpose of communication, because the whatever peace of mind you have will be presented only through the words which are typed and which are available in your letter, communication, etc. In this case, generally I recommend that if at all they want to take an adverse view, or if they want any further elucidation, so last para should always be there, that if your honor wants to make any disallowance or proposes any disallowance, or is not finding certain submissions appropriate, please let us know so that we may amplify the point, or we can submit or rebut the proposition which is there. And generally I see that at times where the point is important, they are also circulating draft assessment order for the purpose of reaction. And if your reply is appropriate, whatever proposals they are making, that are also getting dropped. But then we have to really welcome this era of faceless assessment, because in case of faceless assessment, your time is saved, the malpractices, the corruption also gets addressed. And thirdly, it is the only law and facts that you have to present will guide your assessment and nothing else. So profession will really flourish. Going forward, I see a class of professionals coming up who are smart for drafting your replies, understanding the law, etc. And if I'm sitting in a small city, maybe like say in Maharashtra, maybe Satara, Sangli, or in Chennai, maybe you are at a place 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers away from Chennai or Mumbai. Still, you can stand chance to increase your practice simply by developing skill sets in drafting and responding. In that case, clients from various other contingents, various other areas can come to you for the purpose of drafting, because physical presence is no more required. Of course, I'm sure that if you are sitting in a small city and you want clients from Mumbai, Chennai, or say Delhi, they may not know you, therefore it will be difficult to get. But then you can always visit those cities, approach chartered accountants, because there where number of files are more, they may not find adequate time to devote for the purpose of drafting these replies, etc. And as far as cost at small cities is concerned, they will have advantage on cost element. Therefore, maybe at the initial stages, with the help of chartered accountants who are having substantial files, good amount of practice, they can really share work with you. Now, for this sharing, the council has approved guidelines for networking. So though not topical for today, maybe you can also examine those networking guidelines. And if you are part of a network, maybe within network also you can get opportunity for the purpose of this drafting and presenting the case in faceless assessment. But going forward, second step from faceless assessment is faceless appeals. I don't know whether it was topic for discussion or not today, but then as far as faceless appeals is concerned, there would be difficulty, because experience of professionals is that you may beautifully compile the paper book, you may present paper book containing say 200 pages, 300 pages or whatever. Even when there is face-to-face hearing and such paper books are furnished, it is experience that those papers are not read. At the time of hearing, you have to explain them. If there is a particular point, you have to tell them, Your Honor, please look at page number 27, second paragraph. And then he reads that paragraph, and then whatever point you want to make, it is made. Now, these things may not happen in case of faceless appeals. You may not be able to invite attention of the appellate authority to a particular point, which in your view is more important. And if they do not read it, then it would be very sad case that you have presented your case, but the point has been glossed over. Therefore, I would also suggest that whenever you are submitting, say, your points, maybe your synopsis of hearing or your arguments running to say 40 pages, 50 pages, whatever your proof is there, certain evidence is there, it is always better that whatever be your grounds of appeal may be 2, your grounds of appeal may be 20, you should prepare at least 3 to 4 pages summary, because that 3-4 pages summary will in short present your case and what is your argument. And chances of not reading a particular point would be rather reduced. I would not say eliminated, but they will be rather reduced. And there, rather than explaining your point, you can consider that, okay, now, for example, say employees' contribution to Provident Fund, if it is paid belatedly, now certain high courts have allowed it. So you can say that, okay, this is disallowed and certain high courts are allowed. This point is amplified on page number so and so, para so and so to so and so. So at least if the authority wants to address that particular issue, the authority may read those pages. And then other techniques like making certain portion of your presentation in a bold, certain parts in underlining or highlighting yellow or whatever. So those techniques also one will have to develop. So maybe on this forum or under any other forum, we can also have more sessions for the purpose of developing this art of responding, art of drafting, presentation, etc. So that our presentations would be more appropriate, more to the point, because I have seen number of presentations, they go on writing and number of things are not really necessary. So while presenting your case also, one has to be very crisp and short. Wherever amplification is required, maybe one can have annexure, etc. So if the authority has not understood the case, they may refer that annexure. but if they have understood, because there are a number of things which are common, which they have also come across in earlier hearings. So once he catches the point, he will give the judgment. It is not necessary that everybody has to explain what the section is. Maybe facts you will have to explain, but some fact or some different technique we will have to develop for the purpose of this faceless assessments. And I'm sure in days to come, certainly we will be able to do that. One another initiative that we are trying to take up on Direct Taxation Committee is providing soft copy of Income Tax Act, because I find that number of other enactments are available in soft copies on websites, but only Income Tax Act is not available. We have talked to certain agencies to provide us the draft for the purpose of uploading them on Institute's website. We are talking this on commercial terms also. It is not that somebody has to give us free. Only thing is that we want certain value addition. Say, for example, if we are talking about section 32, we should also say that, okay, annexure 1 is there for the purpose of giving this rates of depreciation. These are the rules applicable, so that people can seamlessly visit those rules, go to the annexure. So something smart designing we are expecting. Now, time is really short. The agency with which we were talking is a couple of agencies. They said that they will take substantial time. So through this forum, I also appeal that in case if you know any agency who will be able to do this quickly, maybe we will be definitely interested to take it forward with that agency or whosoever provides it. Our intention is that rather than every chartered accountant purchasing act and rules, it would be better that if we put it on our website, wherever you go, you will be able to reach out. As far as income tax website is concerned, act is there, but then each section you have to open up. It is not that so whole copy of the act you can look at one go. So what we want is providing copy of income tax act with smart referencing. You can have all the sections at one go. Income tax rules, all the sections you should be able to look at it at one go. So if you have any acquaintance, anybody who is interested in doing that, I definitely welcome it. Couple of more initiatives we are taking at DTC. I think that this would be the place where I just touch upon those aspects. We are trying to revise 2 publications quickly and come up with 4 publications. The 2 publications which we are going to revise is guidance note on income tax audit under section 44AB, and in respect of charitable and religious institutions. One would be on audit of charitable and religious institutions under Income Tax Act, and another is taxation of charitable and religious institutions. So those things also will be getting revised. So if anybody wants to be part of that group which is going to revise this particular guidance note, I think we can also share some portion of that revision with you. And 4 new publications are planned. One is on faceless assessment, one is on faceless appeals, then on reconstitution of firm, because this Finance Act has made substantial changes. In section 45.4, you have 45.4, 45.4A, and then rules are also there. So maybe this aspect of reconstitution of firm will need some more elucidation. And 4th would be on reassessment. Certain law is getting changed. Whatever books we are expecting to come out with, generally what happens if we prepare a book of 200, 300 pages, all the aspects of a particular topic may get covered. But then if anybody wants to have quick information, his interest is lost. So these 4 publications which we are planning at will not have more than 40 to 50 pages. Because if we prepare small and crisp publication, maybe the substance is brought home. If anybody wants to have certain detailed discussion or detailed understanding, he can refer to any referential books. So these are for the purpose of quick understanding of person. So if any professional who is not practicing on income tax, if he reads this book, he will get idea of the subject. If he wants to address that subject, he should be in a position. So such small crisp books we are going to really generate. So for draft also, we would be requesting professionals that if anybody or any group is interested in presenting draft of this particular books, we will be really welcoming. And only thing is that time is essence, because for say faceless assessment of 6 months after we come out with this booklet, it would be rather too late in a day, because now the faceless assessments are happening, they will continue to happen. So as early as possible, we would like to come out with these booklets as well. So such forums which are active for the purpose of engagement of professionals in enriching their knowledge, I think as a group, you also can consider taking up this initiative for your alma mater, the ICAI. I thank the organizers for inviting me, and once again apology I could not come at the beginning, but maybe I said that since at the end at least I can join.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We have a CA Puneet Mehta. Also, we have Amrit Purwal, sir. We recognize the presence of Amrit Purwal, sir, General Secretary, Jain Chartered Accountant Federation. Sir, if you can come on screen, and would like to request CA Puneet Bhai Mehta to give a formal vote of thanks before we conclude the session. Over to you, Puneet Bhai.
Thank you, Chitale sir. It was an enlightening ending words from your side. And what can we say about sir? So the entire regime of the faceless assessment and was taken up so nicely by sir, was that we were right from the history of how why this particular faceless assessment came and how this was taken up again and again by the department and what is the history. It was very well explained by sir, and based on that I'm sure participants have got deep insights on the next steps of the government. So we are very thankful, and Chandrashekhar sir also, we are very thankful on behalf of Jain Chartered Accountant Federation. I share my heart thanks to you that you have not only given your insights on the particular new regime, but also on the new opportunities which chartered accountants can take up along with the institute. Thank you for sharing such insights. And definitely we would take this on our regular forum, that what more can be done. There are participants requests which has come for a special course on drafting. Yes, that is one thing that we can take up at the earliest at the institute level, also at local level, wherever we have we can work it, because right now writing has become very much important. Now what you write is also based on the opposite person, what he understands. Okay, and we don't know who is going to be the opposite person, so it is more appropriate that we write it in a manner which is generally accepted, with a generally acceptable principles in mind. So with those words, I think
in that case you'll have to arrange this understanding of drafting for assessing officers also. So whatever we have written, they should understand.
Right, but that may or may not be in our hands.
That they should do.
Yes, but see, the language is language is English, but opposite person should also be able to understand and grasp the same meaning of what the chartered accountant is wanting to say. And as you rightly said, that earlier the local language was also preferred many times, because both the assessee, the assessing officer, and the tax practitioner, all three were from one area only, so they could communicate well to get the things right. But now all three being at different places, as you said, that somebody from a remote place of which is 200 kilometers from Chennai is drafting, and the assessee is sitting somewhere in Gurgaon, and officer is sitting somewhere in Calcutta. So we don't know what how this khichdi would be. But yes, let's see. This definitely would open up new areas of professional opportunities, and will give us a lot of. But one thing is for sure, that this is going to reduce the corruptions, which was most prevalent, and which is the intention of the government. And let us be part of this in a wholehearted way. And more, whatever problems are there, yes, any new system will not come without any problems. We should come out not only with the problems, but also with the possible solutions, so that the authorities can take up in a right possible manner. So thank you very much. And
only I would like to mention two programs on of DTC on web for all chartered accountants. One is on 31st March at 6:30. We will be having a lecture presentation on Finance Act by Dr. Girish Ahuja, and on 15th of March, I don't have time at the moment, but we have invited CBDT member Mr. Prasad for the purpose of discussing with us faceless assessments and faceless appeals. So, and also reassessment. So if in this forum any queries have been raised in case of faceless assessment, and particularly which need to be addressed by the authority, I think if you send us, we will definitely send them beforehand to Mr. Prasad for the purpose of dealing in this presentation. So on 31st on Finance Act and on 15th on faceless assessment and reassessment. That will be by DTC of ICAI.
Right.
Thank you so much, sir, for your keynote address, and also Abhishek sir for a wonderful presentation and the session. We have live the session on YouTube and also, sir, on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So people have
so that will give me opportunity to understand. That will give me opportunity to attend.
Yes.
Whatever
so
I missed.
we'll final in future also we'll invite, and we will do more sessions, sir, on drafting, and whatever suggestion you have given, sir, will surely do. Thank you for your guidance, and always you are very supportive, sir. Would like to tell everyone that sir is a very active. Whenever any council announcement came, sir is the first one to post or give information from the council, whatever minutes or whatever beneficial decision taken by the council. So we are very thankful to you, sir, for that, sir.
Thank you.
So with this, we are concluding today's session. Thank you so much, all the participants on all the platforms. We keep connect with us, and we'll have a more session on the future aspect as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Puneet bhai. Thank you,
Thank you very
Amrit bhai,
much.
all the attendees. Thank you so much.